They laughed at her name. They mocked her clothes. They spoke to her like she didn't belong in the room. What none of them knew was that in less than 1 hour, the same officers would be standing in silence. Because the ordinary girl they humiliated held the power to end their careers forever. Stay till the end, because the truth she reveals will change everything. The rain had been falling since early evening, soaking the cracked pavement outside the police station. A young woman stood near the entrance, clutching a worn leather bag to her chest. Her shoes were old, her coat slightly frayed at the sleeves, and strands of wet hair stuck to her face. She looked tired, not the kind of tired that came from a long day, but the kind that settled into the bones after years of carrying more than one should. Inside the station, the air buzzed with laughter and chatter. Officers joked loudly behind the front desk, coffee cups in hand, radios crackling with distant calls. When the girl stepped inside, no one acknowledged her at first. She stood quietly, waiting, eyes scanning the room as if searching for something familiar, or perhaps preparing herself for what was to come. Finally, one officer glanced up. His eyes flicked over her clothes, her bag, her hesitant posture. His expression changed. Not to concern, not to professionalism, but to amusement. "Can we help you?" he asked, drawing out the words slowly, like he expected trouble. The girl cleared her throat. Her voice was calm but soft. "Yes. I need to report an incident." The officers exchanged looks. One snorted. Another leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "Incident," the first officer repeated. "Like what?" "Lost wallet. Bus fare stolen." A few of them laughed. The girl didn't react. She simply stepped closer and placed her bag on the counter. "I was assaulted this afternoon. I have witnesses. And I have evidence." That earned her a longer look, but not the one she deserved. The officer raised an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. "You," he said. "Assaulted." He leaned forward. "Miss, do you even know where you are?" She nodded. "I do." "Well," another officer chimed in, smirking, "this isn't a shelter. And it's not social services." More laughter followed. The girl felt her chest tighten, but she remained still. She had faced worse than this, far worse. She had grown up learning how to endure silence, how to let arrogance expose itself. "I'm asking to file a formal report," she said, a little firmer now. The first officer sighed dramatically and began typing, slowly, lazily. "Name." She told him. He stopped typing and looked up again. "Occupation." There was a pause. Just a second too long. "Unemployed." He guessed, grinning. Another officer leaned in. "Let me guess, some boyfriend drama. Or maybe someone looked at you wrong." The girl's fingers curled slightly around the strap of her bag. "No," she said. "This involves abuse of authority." The laughter stopped, for a moment, then exploded louder than before. "Abuse of authority," one officer said between laughs. "From who?" "The universe." The girl felt heat rise to her face, not from embarrassment, but from something deeper. A memory. A reminder of why she had walked into the station alone, without announcing herself, without flashing credentials. Because she wanted to see the truth. She wanted to know how ordinary people were treated, when no one knew who they were. The officer pushed the keyboard away. "Listen," he said, his voice suddenly sharp. "We don't have time for this. If you don't have money, a lawyer, or proof, you're wasting our time." The girl slowly reached into her bag. The room went quiet. She pulled out a thick file. And placed it gently on the counter. "Read," she said. "Or don't. But everything you've said so far is recorded." The officers froze. "What?" one muttered. She tapped her bag. "Audio device. Legal. Activated the moment I entered." The first officer scoffed, but his smile had vanished. "You can't." "I can," she interrupted calmly. And I did. Silence fell across the room. Still, none of them knew. They still thought she was ordinary. They had no idea. who they were speaking to. The shift supervisor stepped out from the back office, drawn by the sudden tension. He glanced at the girl, then at his officers. "What's going on?" he asked. The first officer shrugged. "Nothing. Just someone making accusations." The girl looked up at the supervisor. Her eyes were steady now, clear, sharp, unafraid. "I was assaulted by a man who identified himself as law enforcement," she said. "I came here to report it. Instead, I was mocked, dismissed, and humiliated." The supervisor frowned. "Do you have identification?" She nodded. Slowly, deliberately, she reached into her coat pocket and removed a slim leather wallet. She opened it, not rushed, not dramatic, and placed it on the counter. The badge inside caught the light. Gold. Official. Undeniable. The room seemed to stop breathing. One officer leaned forward. That's not." The girl finally spoke the words she had held back all evening. "My name is Elena Marshall," she said. "And I am the district attorney for this county." No one laughed. No one moved. The first officer's face drained of color. The supervisor stiffened, eyes locked on the badge, then on her face. She continued, her voice calm but carrying weight. "I came here without announcing myself because I needed to know how justice is treated when it looks powerless." She closed the wallet. "And tonight, you answered that question." The supervisor swallowed hard. "Ma'am, I apologize." She raised a hand. "This isn't about apologies." She turned, looking at each officer one by one. "It's about accountability." She opened the file. Inside were photos, statements, timestamps, recordings. Evidence gathered carefully, patiently, over weeks. Not just against the men who assaulted her, but against a system that believed power meant immunity. "Every word spoken tonight," she said, "will be reviewed. Every action. Every dismissal." Some officers looked down. Others stared straight ahead, frozen. "I grew up ordinary," she continued. "No money. No protection. And I learned something early." She paused. "People show you who they are when they think you don't matter." She turned toward the door, rain still pouring outside. "Tomorrow," she said, "formal investigations will begin." She stopped once more, glancing back. "And next time a girl like me walks in here, remember this moment." The door closed behind her. The room remained silent long after she was gone. Because in just one night, an ordinary girl had revealed the extraordinary truth.